September to February. And it's a long course, and it's Monday through Thursday, so 4 nights a week. And we'll explain why it's important to do that. But it's basically, we're giving you a structured environment, theory and practice, and we want to strengthen your skill in meditation, because meditation is important. This course was created by Lumpur Viryan. He's a Buddhist monk, preeminent meditation master in Thailand. He's 100 years old this January. He's been meditating for over 80 years. He's been a monk for over 80 years. And he created this course in Thailand, wrote it in Thai. He went to Canada, translated it to English, and started centers in Canada, across Canada. There's 6 centers in Canada. And then he brought it to the United States. And so there's very few English versions of this course, and this is one of the main, this is the main location. And you're very fortunate because he's a meditation master. He was a student of a meditation master also, who basically revitalized the meditative tradition in Thailand. And so these are core critical teachings, and he's teaching a method, directly from his master teacher. And so the agenda's up. This is how the orientation's going to run. This is the welcome and introduction. We're going to have a little video, Lumpur's history, and I'll explain a little bit of that before we go into it. And then we'll have a course overview, basically what you're going to learn, and that sort of thing. I'm still doing it. And then we'll have some previous graduated students' remarks, because this is the 3rd course. So if you look up here on the banner, you'll see this little course name underneath called the Linden group. So each class will have a kind of a nickname. And this is the 3rd group that's been produced by this center, matriculated out of this center. So there's 2 full sessions before, and they run all year long now. So it's every 6 months there's going to be a course. And then we'll have Q&A if you have any questions, and then Lumpur has a recorded speech. And then we'll have a ceremony called the Offering of Flowers. And in Thailand, there's a tradition called Wai Kru, where there's great respect from students to teachers, because the teachers are providing the students with the skills and knowledge for life. And in Thailand, there's huge respect for teachers. And so here, we're basically going to ask in this ceremony to become students of Lumpur. And in that asking, we present flowers and candles. And we'll go through that. It's not that complicated, and it's pretty nice. And then we'll go over the meditation technique. We'll give a little bit of a demonstration and explain it. And then there's snacks and drinks downstairs, and there's a lot of food. So the video you're about to see is the history of Lumpur Viryan. And so when he was a child, he became ill and was healed. And when he was to be healed, he made a vow in his mind. And somebody heard that vow and healed him. And then vows are very important, right? You make a vow, that's a promise to yourself that you're going to do this act. And that act was to help mankind by bringing peace to the world. And how we get there, that's the mission of this whole center here, is to bring world peace. How do we get world peace? By teaching you to meditate. Well, in this meditation, we have this term called mind power. And mind power is the consciousness. It's not something abstract or something you can't understand. It's how you think and your ability to think. I'll say this over and over again, it's the most critical factor that allows you to stop, think, and understand. And you do that today, right? But you have a limited amount of that power because your mind races off. You hear a sound, somebody comes in, you see something, your mind moves over. And so in this course, we train you to calmly concentrate, and you train your mind. It's like building up this mental muscle where your mind gets used to doing that. You're not forcing it, right? It's not like weight training in that regard where you have to kind of like, pain and gain. But you just bring your mind back like a puppy. You're training this puppy over and over again. And your mind gets an energy from this. Because when you have a focused central point that your mind operates out of, it's very efficient and very quick. And so that's what we're training here, that method. And how does that lead to world peace still? Well, it gives you the ability to stop and think and consider things and understand situations so that you don't act out of emotion, you don't act out of thinking. And you can everybody should be able to think of many examples every day that happens. Traffic, somebody says something to you, you see something on the news, And then your mind races off and starts doing things and the emotions boil up. And if you have an action out of those emotions, because we can probably see that today in the news, lots of people acting out of emotion, and maybe the logical thought is not there, right? But if you're quick enough, if your mind is energetic enough and fast enough, and you know those times you are, maybe it's a big cup of coffee or after you've done a run or something like that, your mind is quick and on the ball, you recognize those times, right? So this meditation technique trains you to build that ability up. And once you have that ability, it becomes a power in you. It's a self-assuring power because you know you have that stable base to go back to. And your mind gets an energy out of it. It's not a pretend energy. Your mind will light up and feel more energetic than you ever had to have in your life. And from that, if you're more considerate, if you're that quick and you're more considerate and you're more kind to other people. And that spreads. And so the more kind people that propagate in this world and move around and interact with people, you don't do things to make other people mad on purpose, right? Because you're that considerate now. And so that's going to lead to world peace. So increase harmony in the world and then lead to world peace. And this will be mentioned again in the speech, but that's why this center is here. And that's why this course is taught, and that's why it's free. Okay, so we're about to see the video, and it's Lumpur's history. It's going to explain how, when he was a child, he was ill and was healed, and then he built these centers. Oh, and if you haven't signed up, sign up. And if you know any friends who might want to meditate, bring them along. And even if you can't make the whole course, come when you can, right? It's better to come, more in the beginning so you get this technique down. And doing the meditation in a group just reinforces the behavior because we have a structured class, so we build the skills for you to be able to meditate. We don't want, you don't keep the meditation here, you don't keep the mind power here, you take that with you. You take this skill with you. And that's it. Thank you.
Whoa, there's more people here than I thought. See, I was so concentrated on Ken and Carol and Erica there. I'm a student. You heard Carol say that. She's my teacher. Both of them, lovely people. Now, I started with a little thing called a brochure. Some of you have seen it, some of you have not. I got this. Now, this one's in Thai. Okay? Now, when I was walking by the kiosk, this lady, lovely lady, she's here someplace, I saw her, she handed me this one. It said, free meditation. Whoa, that hit me hard. So free meditation, what's that? Anyhow, I stuck it in my back pocket and I kept walking. I finished my walk, then I opened it up and I read it. Boy, that's interesting. Now, to tell you why, I've spent many years in Thailand since 1965 in the war. And I've been to hundreds of temples. And the one thing about temples is they're always in a language I can't understand. So, I go there, I enjoy myself, walk around. So when I seen this, I called one of the ladies here. She gave me a very good pep talk. And I enjoyed it, and I said, well, I'll be there. So I showed up. Now, I want to just tell you, my name's Gary Popejoy. Now, Ken, I just heard, drove an hour and a half to school down in Texas, I guess that was. I drive from Santa Clarita. Some of you know where that is. For the ones that don't, that's by Magic Mountain up there. Well, the time frame is pretty important. 5 o'clock, coming down that 5 is not fun. But I get here. Now, I want to ask you a real hard question. Has nothing to do with some things. You'll say, what's he talking about? But I ask, do you have the mind power? Do you have insight? And do you have knowledge? 2, clone a person, to clone a goat, to clone a lizard. That is not what this course is about. I don't think a lot of people do. But here at the Willpower Institute, Lungpor, he teaches the theory on how to meditate. We teach the practice of how to meditate. Both say the same thing in a different way. So, as we, in our mind, and I didn't know a lot of this stuff, I've only learned it recently, but you combine these and you're training your mind to insight and knowledge and mind power. So these things all resonated in my mind because I've been to so many temples, I just had to keep coming. It improved my enhancements of physical, mental, and my emotional well-being and wellness. It really did. As we gained our mind powers, we gain happiness, we decrease our stress, and we all have stress, and I get a new sense of peacefulness up here because it's my first time, but it's yours. Whatever you gain, whatever Ken teaches you, whatever Carol, whatever Erica teaches you, it's yours. Nobody can take it from you, and you can't give it away unless you become a teacher. You can't give it to your brother, your mother, or your sister. It's yours. So it's something that you're going to gain so powerful, so quick, that it's unbelievable. Now, not too long ago, I was sitting out there with you, and our tables in front of us and our books in my head just spinning around, and Carol and Erica just throwing this stuff at me. It took time, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Now, remember that word free? I loved that. I came every day. I wanted that free meditation course. So anyhow, I kept learning, and I was so impressed. I couldn't stop. It was something. It was like a magnet. I just couldn't stop. Carol says to somebody one day, I was sitting there, he said, be like Gary. He just comes every day. He don't know why. He just comes. But it became intriguing. Every word was said in these books that we have that is being taught to us. It's not that you have to read them and understand the words, because somebody's going to teach you the word. Interested. It become absorbed into your mind. Become captivated and fascinating. Yes, very much. I returned again and again. Now, I'm a fisherman. Not a lot of people know that, but I'm a fisherman. And you throw your line out, catch a fish, and you bring him in. Well, the meditation course threw the words out. They hooked me. So I gained valuable insight into the art of this meditation. Learning proper ways to meditate made my life easier. It really did. How to think about what, why, how, and when to meditate. All key words. Everybody says, I'm going to go meditate. So they go sit out there on a chair someplace and they do it. Well, I did that for years. What did I find out? I found out I was practicing relaxation. I was not meditating. I was relaxing. Yeah, we all do that. So sometimes be careful. The word relaxation and meditation are two different things. Relaxation is like sitting down and taking a nap. Meditation is gaining mind power like you've never had before. It's a little bit at a time because we only come 4 days a week. When I arrived here, I walked through that door like a lot of people. I could hardly walk. I still have problems, but I can hardly walk. I had a back problem and I have a feet problem. And you have to walk in meditation. So they made room for me. They helped me. They got me figured out. And as I sat here and I meditated, I learned what anxieties were. I learned what well-beings to a person, to a people, to a self really means. And as I continued on, and I got two witnesses right there, saw me get better day after day after day. I couldn't walk down that aisle hardly the first day. I continued to meditate. I continued to learn on the charts that we have. And then all of a sudden, you get this enhanced peacefulness, and it makes you feel good. So you learn. Now, remember I said I got about 40-mile trip? All this learning taught me how to sit in this Los Angeles traffic and think of anything and everything except the traffic. And you know, it took me just as long to get here as it did before when I was angry. But anyhow, it's a continuous thing. Now, it will teach you something. It will help you. It will change the way you think about meditation. I want to say to my instructors, they were two of the best people I've met in a long time. I didn't know Ken till today, but I can tell he's an okay guy. They give you the highest quality of learning you could ever imagine. The guidance, if you have a question, they're there to answer that question. With Lung Por's, where's he at? Lung Por's instruction and his guidance and his, 60, 80 years, whatever it is, of teaching and learning and so forth, it has been brought down to our level. And for all that, I appreciate everybody. And I hope you consider coming to this class. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.